I know that there is some interest in the audience here, Mr. Cullen included, regarding international services out of Wellington, and unfortunately I don't think I'm going to have time to address that particular topic. But it is, he told me to be bold and make a personal statement. And I said, with only a month to go before our new Chief Executive starts, and I'm still don't know where I'm going to be in another month. I'm not sure today is the right audience to actually make that statement, but what I can say is that as a very proud Wellingtonian, having lived here and been part of this city all my life, it's absolutely a pleasure to be here to present to you today. And I am. But firstly and most importantly, I'd like to share with you our story on cultural change. It's something we are frequently asked about by those who are interested in company transformation, and I know at a personal level I get asked more about that at our social barbecues than I do about any other topic other than international services out of Wellington. I hope this will provide you with some insights into what really drives the success of our airline, and which is our people. Ultimately, we are here to deliver the dream of those who need to travel for numerous reasons every day. Air New Zealand has multiple touch points with our customers. The secret is to have our people aligned in their thinking and delivering a consistently world-class experience to all customers they interface with, no matter which part of our business they are representing. Air New Zealand has had to be fast and nimble over the years to survive and thrive, and a culture of innovation is something we have worked very hard to foster. For many years now, we have pursued a strategy that recognises that our people, rather than our planes, are the most valuable asset in our business. And I know most businesses talk about that, the challenge is to deliver on it. Every single Air New Zealander can make a difference to how we do our business and how we change our business to meet new challenges. It is, without doubt, the most relentless business that I have ever been associated with, and that includes the Central Pulse. Our people and our culture are what drives our success. We allowed our culture to develop by unshackling our people from complex processes, rule books and prescribed behaviours. We allow and trust our people to be themselves and motivate themselves to deliver great customer service. It can sometimes be hard to let go in this way, but our management team decided we had to have confidence that we were right to believe in the passion of our people, and that given the right framework and appropriate levels of empowerment, they will get it right. And from a personal perspective, I was fortunate enough to come in on that wave of change when I was employed 6 years ago. So relatively speaking, I'm a very, very new Air New Zealander. Our brand was evolving and becoming more Kiwi, making the promise that anyone who travels with Air New Zealand will go on an incredible journey, reflecting both the people who take you on the journey and the experience once you get to New Zealand. After conducting extensive research into what typified uniquely Kiwi Service, we distilled it down to 4 main behaviours which sum us up, and that is welcome as a friend, can do, be yourself and share your New Zealand. It is this unique personality that drives decisions right across our business. It empowers employees to be constantly listening to customers to find out what is important to them, and it encourages fresh thinking and ideas and promotes a positive and vibrant attitude right across the organisation. It is also what makes us an employer of choice, with last year there being more than 60,000 applications being received from people wanting to work for Air New Zealand and contribute towards its success. That in itself brings its challenges. We commenced the design project to develop the interiors for the aircraft that we have 5 years ago. Commercial innovation has been driven by our people, and with one example being the B777-300, and excuse me for using the acronyms, aircraft with our unique Kiwi design lie-flat sky couch. Typically, it involves the airline working with the aircraft manufacturer and their catalogue interior suppliers to choose the interior elements of the airline, which is to have fitted in our aircraft. At the start of this process, we visited Boeing, Seat Gallery, and quite simply overwhelmed by the options available. So we set our own long-haul team the challenge to create the seats and develop the next generation long-haul experience. It took 4 years and a multi-million-dollar R&D program. We had design camps, spent days brainstorming every conceivable way a seat could look and work. As part of the process, we undertook detailed studies in flight of passengers to really appreciate their wants and their needs. And what we produced was real Kiwi innovation at its best. Our own staff working alongside other experts in their fields to produce what we see today in our Boeings. And why do we go to all this effort with our aircraft interiors? Easy, really. It all begins with our commitment to increasing the number of tourists to New Zealand, as without them we do not have a business. Just to touch on our tourism strategy. Inbound tourism is clearly critical to the success and growth of Air New Zealand. Around 70% of the passengers, around half of those being from Australia, on our international services are visitors coming to or returning from a visit to New Zealand, and over the past year we've increased the number of people we fly here. It's great to see an increase of around 4% in the number of tourists into New Zealand over the past 4 years, and we're playing our part by investing the majority of our marketing spend offshore and working with our industry partners to support a sustainable, high-value tourism industry. For an isolated island destination such as New Zealand, air travel is critical. As you know, as a country we are dependent on tourism and trade. Due to New Zealand's distance from key visitor markets, environmental concerns continue to be a factor. Our goal is simple. It's to be the world's most environmentally sustainable airline, and there's very good reason why. Our future as New Zealand's carrier is also reliant on the protection and enhancement of our unique and treasured environment. This makes efficient and sustainable air travel a priority. Tourism New Zealand's positioning of our country as 100% pure New Zealand has been visionary and to an increasingly environmentally conscious world. As a nation of people passionate about living in one of the youngest, most beautiful and unspoiled places in the world, we have a real opportunity to seize and demonstrate environmental leadership. Recently, Air New Zealand announced a new partnership with the Department of Conservation to sponsor New Zealand's Great Walks network, as announced by our Prime Minister. This will see us invest in the ecosystems and around the 9 Great Walks, such as the Routeburn and Milford tracks, which will further enhance their track experiences. The Great Walks Biodiversity Partnership will enable important conservation biodiversity projects to take place in the vicinity of the Great Walks and also help promote these gems in New Zealand's natural tourism crown to domestic and international tourists like never before. In the past 5 years, we have instigated more than 200 environmentally related projects. At an operational level, fuel savings initiatives see us save in excess of 142,000 tonnes of CO2 each year, equating to 57 million litres less aviation fuel than we were burning 5 years ago. In parallel, we've supported many initiatives to protect and promote the natural environment and biodiversity in New Zealand, the South Pacific and Antarctica. There's no escaping that the past decade has been incredibly challenging for all of us. Everybody in business understands how it feels. It seems we've been thrown every possible curveball, and Air New Zealand is not immune from that, and neither is it on its own in that area. From the global financial crisis to volatility in exchange rates and devastating natural disasters, the price of jet fuel has had a significant impact on our operation. It's the single largest cost in the business and has doubled in price in the last 3 years. To give you a sense of what that means, for every dollar increase in the price of fuel adds $10 million to our annual fuel bill, which is now running at $1.3 billion per annum. We've been well and truly put to the test over the last decade, but we've chosen to respond at speed and to adjust and to change to meet those challenges whilst keeping our eye focused on growth and again relying on our people to deliver it. Our ongoing investment in our fleet illustrates our commitment to key markets. On this slide showing now, you can see that our firm aircraft orders standing at $3.3 billion, and that these range from 787s through to the ATR 600s, the first of which is arriving within the next 2 weeks. We've recently taken delivery of the remaining 2 Boeing 777-300Rs for the international long-haul network as we continue to phase out our 747-400s and move towards a simplified and more economic fleet. The 10 Boeing 787s that we've had on order from Boeing, named the Dreamliners, and that's certainly been a dream, will change how New Zealanders fly and how we bring the world to New Zealand. We are to launch the launch customer for the larger 787-900 variant, which will have a greater range capability and seating capacity than the 787-800 series. It is well known that the 787's composite structure will enable better cabin humidity and lower relative cabin altitude for a more comfortable flying experience. It also has the exciting environmental advantage of using up to 20% less fuel than the aircraft it will be replacing within our fleet, while also being able to carry up to 50% more cargo than other aircraft of comparative size, something that is of significant interest, I know, this aircraft to the Wellington business market, both from a passenger perspective, the potential that the aircraft may have, and the cargo capacity of that aircraft. We expect to deploy the first of our 787s into service in 2014 and are now fully into the design phase for the interior, which is a very exciting step. In our short-haul network, we have recently taken delivery of an additional A320 to operate short-haul routes and have a total of 10 Airbus A320s on order, which will operate domestically. We recently announced the order of the 7 ATR 600 aircraft, which will significantly increase capacity in our domestic regional routes. We continue to add capacity to our New Zealand operation using a mix of our jet and turboprop services. We're progressively replacing our 13-strong 737s, which have been an incredibly reliable and steadfast aircraft for us over such a long period of time, with the larger Airbus A320s, and this will increase domestic jet capacity by almost 30%. The purchase of the ATR 600s potentially doubles our ATR fleet and will put a further 2 million seats into the New Zealand regional market annually. The first of these aircraft, as I said, will be arriving within the next 2 weeks. At a time when other businesses have shown little appetite to invest significantly in assets, we have not wavered in our belief in the long-term strength of the domestic economy, something that is incredibly important to our regions, and particularly Wellington, and our ability to attract customers domestically, let alone from across the Tasman and in a broader sense in our long-haul markets. Thanks to the purchase of aircraft and the lowering of fares, we've seen regional passenger numbers increase by an average of 5% annually since 2003, resulting in our regional airlines carrying 54% more passengers to 4.3 million for the 12 months to March this year. By June next year, we will be operating in excess of 40% of the seats into and out of New Zealand, and we currently operate 84% of domestic seats throughout New Zealand. We not only continue to invest in our aircraft and our people, but in our customer journey. We're proud to be New Zealand's national airline, and I'm certainly proud to be part of that business. Many times I've always, like all young boys and young people, they have a desire to represent New Zealand, and I tell people that I represent New Zealand every single day of my life. It's the only way I was ever going to be able to represent it, I think. But and we're committed to growing tourism into and within New Zealand, whilst providing the outstanding level of service that has recently won us 2 out of the last 3 ATW Airline of the Year awards. It is a particularly exciting time for Wellington, with the Hobbit premiere in 2 weeks presenting our cool little capital to the rest of the world. It will be certainly put onto the world stage, and Air New Zealand is incredibly proud with our association with Peter Jackson and his team. And for those that have seen the new Hobbit in-flight safety video, I'm sure that you will see why it has proven to be so incredibly popular in the social media circle, attracting more than 1 million new views per day since it was launched. It's a phenomena that we had not even anticipated ourselves, but to put that into context, it is the most successful online and social media launch that has been delivered to date, and it has blown every single record in the social media space out the window. So unfortunately we've set ourselves a new platform and a new task to better that again. But the great thing for Wellington, I think, is that with the Hobbit being here, it is our opportunity for all businesses and all people that represent this amazing region of ours to step forward and to participate in what I think will be an incredible celebration of excellence of New Zealand. The timing of the exposure could not be better for Wellington, and we're certainly looking forward to a huge week in the middle of Middle Earth. Thank you very much.